No DQ Galaxy. We are live with the NoDQ.com live recap of AEW Dynamite for May the 4th. Be with you. 2022. We had some build-up leading up to the upcoming Double or Nothing pay-per-view. So let's get right to this recap. Shout out to everybody for watching, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support as always. We got right into a match as we typically do on Dynamite. We had Jeff Hardy one-on-one with Bobby Fish in a qualifying match for the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. Adam Cole was out there on commentary for the match. Matt Hardy and Kyle O'Reilly were at ringside to back up their guys. Jeff Hardy got a hot start, was doing some of the Hardy taunting, but then Fish got the upper hand. He hit a dragon screw. He sent Hardy into the barricade. And as this was going on, Sting and Darby Allin were watching in the rafters. And yes, this was Jeff Hardy's singles debut in AEW. First time competing in a one-on-one match. Jeff made a comeback, went up for the swanton, but Fish caught him. And then Fish hit a pretty cool-looking Avalanche Falcon Arrow, but Hardy kicked out of that. And then Jeff hit the Whisper in the Wind, went up to the top, hit the swanton, and picked up the 1-2-3 victory to officially qualify for the Owen Hart Tournament. And he will be facing Darby Allin in a first round or first round, semi-quarterfinal, whatever the hell it is. I'm not even sure. I think it's a quarterfinal match is the correct terminology. So that match will be taking place in the near future. Might be next week. I'm not sure exactly. But good opening match here to start off the show. And afterwards, we had a little tease for the future. We had the Young Bucks walking down to the ring to check on their pal from the Undisputed Elite. And in the process, had a little bit of a confrontation with the Hardy Boys in the ring, teasing a future match between the two teams, Hardys versus the Young Bucks. You know it's inevitable. You know that's going to be taking place at some point in time. Nice tease for that. We had a 6-man tag team match. We had the Blackpool Combat Club going up against the Butcher, the Blade, and Angelico, representing the Andrade family office. Butcher attacked Moxley in the crowd as Moxley was doing his Wild Thing entrance. They worked over Yuta for a while, but eventually Yuta was able to hit Butcher with a German suplex. He tagged out to Moxley, and then the Combat Club, they got into their full gear. They were doing their moves, everyone working at the same time, taking out the opposition. And then Bryan kicked in Angelico's head in and then picked up the submission victory with the Triangle Sleeper. Probably Blackpool Combat Club's toughest challenge to date, but still a pretty solid victory for the Combat Club as they continue to build up momentum. Crowd was very much into Wheeler Yuta, and this was a sold-out crowd. Dynamite in Baltimore, it was a smaller arena, but they had close to 5,000 people there, and I like what they did with the lighting because sometimes AEW will dim the arena, and in this case they kept the lights on during the matches. You had a full crowd. I thought it looked really good on TV, and I definitely think that they should try to run buildings like this where they can sell it out or come very close, which they tend to do for the smaller arenas, and keep the lights on. You got the people there, definitely show them. DJW, who was on the predictions video for WrestleMania Backlash, check that out if you missed it, says, What up, NoDQ Galaxy? I sure would not mind AEW creating trios titles. Now is a time, if ever, with the Blackpool Combat Club doing their thing. You got the House of Black. You got Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish. You got the Jurassic Express with Christian Cage. You got a lot of teams. You could definitely have a trios championship in AEW. I think they should do it. We really haven't seen it in the United States. Like, WWE has never done it. I think WCW actually did have 6-man tag team titles, like late 80s, somewhere around there, when it was still the NWA, 1990, somewhere around that time period. And speaking of Jurassic Express, they were backstage with Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks, and Jungle Boy said before Team Taz gets an opportunity at the tag team titles, how about Jungle Boy gets an opportunity at the FTW championship? Starks agreed to the match, and it's going to take place on next week's show. So there you have it. We had Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland cutting a backstage promo talking about having unfinished business with Team Taz. Looks like Lee and Swerve are doing the tag team thing right now. That's cool. We had Wardlow coming out for his match with the mystery opponent selected by MJF. As usual, no music, no bells and whistles for Wardlow, escorted out with the security. MJF came out and introduced the mystery opponent, 7 feet of power. And as we all pretty much expected here, we have Big Cass, William Morrissey, making his AEW debut, looking tan, buff, excited to be there. Like Big G, happy to be there. Shout out to Big G, who was at this show. He was in Baltimore for Dynamite. I think it's like his 4th time attending Dynamite. I still haven't been to one. So hats off to you, Big G. You're living the life, seeing AEW live. Anyways, this was a pretty standard big man match. This was likely a one-off for William Morrissey, who is working for Impact Wrestling, but perhaps he'll be brought back. Now, interestingly enough, I felt like the crowd was more interested in Enzo. They were chanting, "We want Enzo," but then there were "No, we don't" chants. And what is wrong with those people? I'm definitely on the "I want Enzo" in AEW, or better yet, get him back in WWE. Either way, Enzo should be on national television. And I do think that Enzo and Cass are better together than apart. I think that they had that chemistry as a tag team. And this was a fine match, just standard big man match. Cass was dominating for a long time. Hit the boss man slam, but Wardlow kicked out. Crowd was chanting for Wardlow. He made his comeback, pulled down the straps, hit a powerbomb. Only needed one to get the victory, but it was quite the powerbomb. And then afterwards, the security ran down, and Wardlow beat them up. More security came down, and Wardlow took those guys out as well, which I really like. Weeks ago, I was like, you know what? Wardlow should not be taken away by the security. He's got to fight them all off. And they did it this week. I love it. Man, Wardlow, is this guy going to be the future or what? If not AEW, WWE, but this guy just keeps building momentum with each passing week. DJW sent in another $5 super chat. Very much appreciated, DJ. Says, man, Cass is freaking shredded. He definitely deserves a renewed push. And I hope WWE will consider bringing Enzo and Cass back. I don't sense that AEW will use Enzo, especially when you have the crowd, half of them at least, chanting "No, we don't" when people are chanting "We want Enzo." I think they're a better fit for WWE just because it's more of the sports entertainment presentation that those guys have, and Enzo's a promo guy. That's his deal. So I think they would be better off in WWE, but I would like to see them get back on track for a mainstream promotion and not just doing the indie shows. Next up, oh, by the way, I forgot to finish off this segment. Wardlow got on the mic and told MJF he will not stop until he is released from his contract. And MJF said, well, they can do a match. And if Wardlow wins, then Wardlow is no longer contractually obligated to MJF. However, there is going to be a contract signing. Yes, a contract signing. And that will be next week. MJF said it was not going to be in a hellhole like Baltimore, a dump. He said it will be in his hometown of Long Island, New York, on next week's show. Normally, I give the contract signings a letter grade down, but at least to AEW's credit, they're doing a contract signing without the match being official. With WWE, they just announce the match, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, we're having a contract signing next week. In this case, they're not advertising the match. MJF has not agreed to the match yet because he has some conditions that have to be met before he actually officially agrees to the match. So in this case, the contract signing actually does make sense. I just hate the fact that they're done so often. That's the problem. If they were done once in a while, when there was a logical reason, I'd be okay with it. I'm not against contract signing segments. It's just when it's done like 4 times a month, it seems sometimes. Like between WWE and AEW, I feel like we get at least one contract signing for every pay-per-view, and sometimes we get them multiple times, as we've seen this past month. We had a promo for Ruby Soho and Toni Storm. They will be taking on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter for a special 5:30 edition of Rampage. It will be on at 5:30 because of the NBA playoffs. And it kind of sucks for AEW bouncing the time around of the show. The show's not doing all that great in the television viewership, and it definitely doesn't help when they're having to move around due to the NBA playoffs. We had the world champ, Hangman Adam Page, come to the ring for an interview with Tony Schiavone, although Schiavone just took off and really didn't do anything for this segment. Adam Page said that it would be real easy to talk about how much he likes CM Punk, but that's not going to happen. He said that there will be no handshakes at Double or Nothing, and there will be no Bret Hart tribute match. That was a funny line. Page said he is going to destroy CM Punk. And the crowd was chanting CM Punk, said that CM Punk isn't there. And apparently a fan caught Page's eye. There was this guy wearing a CM Punk t-shirt, and Page said that after he gets through with CM Punk, that fan will either get a refund for his shirt or burn the damn thing. And Page finished off the promo by saying that he is going to embarrass CM Punk, and CM Punk is in for the fight of his life at Double or Nothing. Hell of a promo here from Hangman Adam Page. I thought this was really well done. Kind of a little bit of a tease for a heel turn. Although, to me, it was just him saying he's going to kick CM Punk's ass. I would not go as far to say it was a heel turn, but it was interesting. Crowd was chanting CM Punk, and CM Punk might be might be the babyface for this match. We'll see how things go. Maybe we'll get the dueling chance at Double or Nothing. We'll see. But it was interesting, the reaction. I mean, this particular crowd was very pro CM Punk, that's for sure. DJW with a $2 super chat says, Paige will be the best, Paige will be the heel in the match, question mark? He might be, or they might just do the scenario where Paige is going to do his thing, kind of like John Cena. People will cheer or boo, do whatever they want, but as long as they're reacting, that's all that matters. I'm not sure if they're going to go with a full-blown heel turn or not. I just think they're trying to build up the heat for the match, and Paige was just speaking his mind. And, you know, I saw nothing from that promo that made me think that this guy's all of a sudden the bad guy. He's just telling it like it is as far as he's concerned. Caleb Jacobs thinks that Punk is winning the title. We'll see. I mean, this one I think is a little difficult to call. I felt for the longest time that Paige would be champion until he faced MJF, and MJF would be the next champion. But Punk could end up winning it, and then they could do Punk versus MJF one more time for the title. Would not shock me. I mean, I could definitely see this one going either way. We had Santana going up against his former teammate, Chris Jericho, the influencer. And Santana went right after Jericho, did a dive to the outside, beating up Jericho, finally got him in the ring, and the match officially started once they were both in the ring. But then you had the JAS interfering 2.0. I still refuse to call them by their new names because I don't know what they are. Matt Bernard, Trey Stone, something or other. So the 2.0 guys were interfering. Jericho took advantage, drop kicked Santana to the outside of the ring, and Santana fell on the ring steps. And Santana made a comeback, did the Eddie Guerrero, Three Amigos. Of course, you got the Eddie chant. And then he hit the frog splash, but Jericho kicked out of that. Jericho got the walls on, but Santana was able to escape. Santana started to make another comeback, but that's when, once again, JAS interfering in the match. And with the referee distracted by all the stuff going on outside of the ring, Jericho hit the Judas effect. He hit a low blow first, then he hit the Judas effect and picked up the victory. Ring Scoops, and by the way, shout out to Wayne Needham of ringscoops.com for helping out on NoDQ.com these past several days as I was on my delayed honeymoon. I appreciate that, Wade. He says, think we'll ever see a Chicago Sunroof match. Well, if Bob Odenkirk appears at All Out in Chicago, we might just get that match. We had Samoa Joe cutting a promo. He's going to be facing Jay Lethal on Rampage. Again, it will be at a special start time of 5:30. We had Brian Pillman Jr. with Griff Garrison and Julia Hart. They were in the ring for a promo, and they talked about how they were humbled by the encounter with the House of Black a couple months back. Brian Pillman Jr. talked about how they were torn apart little by little. And Pillman brought up Coach John Harburg, who was close with his father, Brian Pillman Sr. And Pillman said that now things have changed. He is feeling goddamn enthusiastic. And he said that they are ready to fight. So the lights went out. House of Black arrived, and House of Black beat the crap out of Pillman and Garrison. Julia Hart was standing in the corner. Malachi Black intimidated her, and then Brody King gave her a chair to use on her own guys. Julia Hart, she thought about it, but then she hesitated, and then Malachi Black went after Julia Hart and ripped off her eye patch. Finally, Death Triangle ran down to the ring to make the save. A little late, guys, but sure. I guess later is better than never, right? So segment was okay, I guess, but kind of a train wreck in my opinion. And I think they should have gone with the Julia Hart heel turn. Like let's have her join the group and have her go to the dark side. Maybe she still will. We'll see. And I'm sure the match will be taking place at Double or Nothing. Should be a really good one. And I think if it does happen, House of Black need to pick up the win, build them up for the Blackpool Combat Club. We had Jade Cargill backstage cutting a little promo with the baddies. And then we had Dante Martin versus Rey Fenix. Really, really fun match here. Pretty much what you would expect from these two. Now, Tony Khan was calling this a dream match, and not sure I would go that far. Like, these guys are great wrestlers, high flyers, fun match to watch, but that's like saying that Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese was a dream match for me. It's not. Like, I like these guys, but was not a dream match. It was an awesome match, but it was like a cruiserweight match. It was good. It was a lot of high flying, flashy moves. Phoenix always does crazy stuff in these matches. That injury did not slow him down whatsoever. He did like this springboard, back-flipping Russian leg sweep. It was crazy. And they had a bunch of near falls. Crowd chanted "Fight Forever." And both of them were on the top rope. And Phoenix tried to do like a Spanish fly, something like that. And both of them landed on their feet. Crowd popped big for that. Dante had a poison rana, went for the nosedive, but did not get it. Phoenix took advantage and finished off Dante. Good match here. Good high-flying cruiserweight style match. And Phoenix showed some sportsmanship and hugged him afterwards. DJW sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, DJ. I appreciate the super chat. Says, Julia should have turned heel. Damn it. She's been so disengaged in their matches lately just to hesitate. Stupid. Well, maybe they're doing the slow build. We'll give it time and see what happens. Could still happen as far as I'm concerned. I'm not ruling it out just yet. Next up, we had Thunder Rosa. And guess what? Not only were the women not in the 9:20 to 9:30 spot, they actually got the main event and the second to last segment on the show. So like from 9:30 to the end of the show, it was all the women. How about that? AEW giving the women the spotlight here at the end of the show. Thunder Rosa, the champ, cut a promo and talked about how when she came to AEW, she was just looking to elevate the women's division, but then she became a backbone for the women's division and talked about being inspired by Serena Deeb, called out the number one contender, who of course is in fact Serena Deeb. Deeb said that she respects Rosa for earning the title and believes that they can make women's wrestling even bigger than it's already been. They can make AEW's women's division the best in the world. However, for that to happen, Deeb said that the best women's wrestler needs to be champion. And Deeb said she's on another level. She's in a class of her own, and she will be taking the AEW women's title coming up at Double or Nothing. And I think this will be a really good one. Looking forward to the match. Promo work, it's a little rough. I mean, Rosa, she went out there and spoke from the heart, but it's not great. And Brian Pillman Jr., I just wanted to say this too, not a great promo. Like, I feel like just his delivery is a little off and he's yelling and just doesn't have that natural flow, in my opinion, with his promos. Like they feel very forced. And with Thunder Rosa, kind of feels the same way too, a little bit. Just the delivery is not at the level of some of the other women, like a Britt Baker, for instance, and in WWE, like a Becky Lynch. So we had that segment, and then we had a little promo from the Meat Man. That's his new nickname, John Silver. He's going to be facing CM Punk next week in his hometown. We'll see if John Silver gets a bigger reaction than CM Punk, but probably not getting the win with CM Punk heading into Double or Nothing. But it'll be a nice little match for John Silver. No Dark Order guys near him, so who knows what's going on with that group. Stu Grayson's contract reportedly expired. And, I hate to say it. I know that people like the Dark Order, but I feel like the group ran its course. It was on life support at the end of 2019. And then when Brody Lee came in, he gave the group a new lease on life. And they've had some funny, entertaining moments. But, for a while, they were just lackeys for Hangman Adam Page. And with all these new people coming in, they kind of got pushed to the side. And yeah, I think the group just ran its course. So anyways, we had the main event of the evening. Mercedes Martinez, the interim Ring of Honor Women's Champion, going up against Deonna Purrazzo, the defending Ring of Honor Women's Champion. And this was a match to determine the undisputed champion. Ring of Honor women getting the main event spot here, which is pretty cool. Match was good, but man, it was not one of the more heated main events in AEW history. It was pretty quiet for this match. And I know AEW tends to draw in more hardcore fans, but you really have to be the most hardcore of hardcore fan if you're watching Impact Wrestling these days. And Noah Foster, for instance. But I'm not even surprised that a lot of the crowd didn't react much to Deonna when she's mostly been in Impact as of late. And I just don't think a lot of people are watching Impact these days. And it's not even a bad product. It's just there's too much wrestling out there. And people have to pick and choose what they're watching. So wasn't a ton of heat for this match. It was kind of cold, but it was a good match. The women were really trying hard to put on a match worthy of the main event spot. So I will give them credit for that. And Deonna's a pretty good heel here. She's refusing to do the Code of Honor handshake, which I like. I think that's goofy, but that's just me. I like the drama and people holding grudges and hating each other's guts. I don't like this sportsmanship crap. So anyways, Deonna was being a good heel here. And they had a little bit of a feeling out process. Back and forth here between the two of them. Mercedes eventually hit a curb stomp and then put on the Dragon Sleeper. And Deonna tapped out. So Mercedes Martinez is now the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's Champion. I like what they were trying to do here, but the main event did feel a bit flat. And, it just ended with that. No cliffhanger for next week or anything like that. They just had a match. We had a winner. And that was it. So I thought the end was a little flat, honestly. But overall, another good show from Dynamite. Not too much to complain about. They had some good build-up for Double or Nothing, some good wrestling, some good promos. Very solid. I'm going to give it a B. Probably a somewhat recommend, though. It was a good show, but not really a must-see show. Everything was solid, but if you missed it for the most part, you probably did not miss much. Big Cass was probably the most noteworthy appearance on the show. and he lost. We might never see him again in AEW, likely just a one-off. But overall, I did enjoy Dynamite, as I usually do. And I like I said, I love the fact that they kept the lights on with the crowd. And I like that arena that they had the show in. You know, mid-size arena. But I always felt like a mid-size arena looks better than a full arena or a full-size arena that isn't full. Like if you have a 15,000 seat arena and there's only 6,000 people there, you know, it doesn't look that great when you have to turn down the lights to hide the empty seats. But when you have a full crowd, even if it's a middle size arena, it looks like the promotion is major league. And got a $5 super chat here from Seth Wallins. Thank you for that, Seth. Says, where is Eric Redbeard? He returned and left again. Could be the new leader of the Dark Order. Like Cass, I think that this was just a one-off, and they brought in Redbeard for that little tag match, and that was it. I don't think that they really want to utilize the bigger non-work rate wrestlers like a Big Cass, like an Eric Redbeard. You know, they brought in Paul White, who has basically been an ambassador for AEW. They put him on one pay-per-view match, and you know, people were not buzzing about it. You know, it's just not what fits in with AEW. AEW is very work rate heavy, smaller guys, and the Paul Whites, the Big Casses, the Eric Redbeards don't really fit in with the rest of the AEW roster. And you look at Cass towered over Wardlow, who's one of the bigger guys in the company. I mean, Wardlow was no small man, and he looked tiny next to Cass. Like, what do you do with Cass? Like, if you're not going to push him at a top level, you can't really use him as like an enhancement guy unless you're using him for this very scenario where he's putting over one of the bigger guys you have that you're trying to push as a future top guy. So my feeling is we will not see Cass again. And I don't think we're going to see Enzo in AEW. I would like to see it, but I think that they're better off in WWE, and I hope they get another chance. I mean, they were moving a ton of merchandise. They were always getting big reactions. To me, it's a license to print money. And if these guys have matured, I say give them another chance. So that was the Dynamite recap, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're watching this on Twitter or Facebook, head over to youtube.com/Aaron Rift, NoDQ. Got a comment here, please no Enzo. I want Enzo. Enzo is very entertaining. He's a sports entertainer, and he gets me glued to the TV set. Not a lot of wrestlers can do that. Enzo can. When he's out there, I'm paying attention. And I think I'm far from the only one. So anyways, guys, take care, everybody. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you again, Wade. I appreciate your comments. And again, thank you for helping out with NoDQ. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay tuned for the NoDQ review. And remember to say yes to NoDQ.com. Take care, everybody. See you next time.